Welcome to another Burgundy with Tweedy video. This is a Gevrey Chambertin from a producer called Boursot, Père et Fils. I have had something or other from this producer before. I think possibly I've even had their Gevrey Chambertin in the past, but I think that was before I had this YouTube channel. I'm losing track now of what I have or haven't had, but I'm fairly sure I have not had this 2018 vintage of their Gevrey Chambertin. If you can see some mould on the end, and I don't know if it's the wine. I haven't even taken the cork out yet, but I immediately got a waft of something mushroomy there. That could be environmental. I'm, as always, sat on the floor of the woods. Maybe there's something around me here, but it felt like I got a sudden waft as soon as I removed the foil there. Yep, there is definitely some mushroomy funk coming from that slightly mouldy cork. If any of you have never encountered, I mean, you're all old hands at wine, teaching my grandmother to suck eggs here, but if any of you have never encountered a mouldy cork before, don't be put off. You just open it as usual. I mean, maybe if you want to be extra sort of hygienic about it, give the rim a wipe with a tissue or something afterwards. But I've encountered many bottles where the cork was a little bit mouldy on top. Quite often something that happens within my cellar. The wine was probably fine when it went in there, became mouldy during the time it was in my cellar. The wine inside has never been spoiled, so I don't generally think that's a problem. I actually took a quick look at the producer's website before opening this up just now. Not many Burgundy producers even have a website, and if they do, there's very little information on it, but they do have a short passage on this particular wine, the Gevrey Chambertin, not of a specific vintage, but just the general style that they would expect roughly from year to year. I realised I didn't know the French for blackberry. It is mûr. What a lovely sounding word, mûr. I'm probably mispronouncing it. We're probably all familiar with the French word for blackcurrant, cassis, because we use that in various forms in English as well. But mûr, what a lovely sounding word, mûr. They describe the fruit character as mûr. I think there was also cassis. Cerise, is it, for cherries? Those things are all, I would say, typical Pinot character. I'm less used to finding blackberries, mûr, in Burgundy. It's something I see coming out of Pinot Noir in the context of English sparkling wine. When we talk about hedgerow fruits, I think often what we're referring to is blackberries. This may all just be the power of suggestion, but now they have put that thought of blackberries into my mind, I'm fairly sure I get a lovely waft of, as they say, blackberry, bit of cassis, bit of blackcurrant, and of course some cherry, perhaps darker cherries. I think all of those fruits are sort of darker fruits, aren't they? And that's probably consistent with the colour here as well. The other thing they noted on the aroma was black pepper. Not getting that on the nose, but that is a lovely, quite a pure, quite a clean fruity nose there of all those fruits I just described. Nice. On the palate, really bold acidity actually, noticing that straight away. So we're still on the palate, but I've briefly come back to the nose for a moment because giving that another sniff now, and perhaps aided by having had a swig first, I think I am getting that black pepper now. Yeah, black peppercorns. That is nice. That's actually a lovely combination with that that fruit character. Okay, so back to the palate. Bold acidity, nice concentration, quite intense actually, and intense is good. That's definitely a good thing. I mean, that's perhaps possibly a facet of that acidity, at least in part, but I'm getting more of that pepper character on the palate. And as is often the case, I mean, perhaps this is just my inability to distinguish the two. The spice and the tannins are two things that often end up somehow in the same jumbled bag for me. It's a mouthfeel thing, at least partly, with spice, rather than simply aroma compounds and or flavour compounds, which is the same, I believe, also for tannin. There is a sort of tactile feel to both tannins and spices. I would say the tannin is, you know, relatively subtle, but it's there. Quite a dry palate as well, and that perhaps attests to the tannins again. And there is more fruit character there. There is a sort of vinous quality to it. It is quite winey, which is something you'd hope for a wine. And I detect more of that sort of, you know, quite luscious sort of fruit character there. I wish I had a word for this. There is a particular sort of perfumey, fruity thing that I often experience, actually both on the nose and on the palate sometimes. And it's something I really love in Burgundy, a particular kind of fruit character that sort of sits somewhere between floral and fruity, and I'm getting some of that here. I'm really happy with that. That's pretty lovely. Cheers.